You may remember in the Berlin episode I talked about my brother who was battling cancer. Well, a stem cell transplant saved his life, and here he is. He's with us here in Copenhagen filming this episode. Now, ordinarily, this is the part of the show where we would be doing our sponsor bit, but we're not for this episode. Instead, all the money that this episode makes from YouTube ads is going to the Anthony Nolan Trust. They do pioneering work in matching stem cell donors with those that need a transplant. So that's what we're going to do, but we need you to do something.
So if you check out the show notes below, you can see how to get involved. Becoming a stem cell donor is really easy. It's a simple spit in a test tube and a blood test, and that's it. If you're in the UK, you can go to anthonynolan.org, or if you're outside the UK, check out bethematch.org to join up and save a life.
Hello everybody and welcome to Attaché, the show that gets you in, out, and around some of the world's greatest cities. My name's Alex Hunter and I'll be your Sherpa on
There are few places in the world that seem to garner genuine affection from all who have visited or lived there. Places where the mere mention of their name brings a knowing smile to the face and a burst of praise from the lips. Sure, we all have our favorite cities, a subject we debate endlessly with fellow travelers, but I don't think I know a city anywhere on Earth that is as broadly and unabashedly adored as Copenhagen. And when you come here, you can see why.
Copenhagen is one of those rare cities that's big enough to feel cosmopolitan and exciting, but also small enough to feel intimate, cozy, safe, but full of character and charm. Combine that with a flat topography, one of the world's best public transport systems, and a cycle-centric road network, and you have a city that is an absolute joy to get around. Copenhagen is served in appropriate Scandinavian style by Kastrup Airport. This is a very good airport, consistently ranked among the best in the world for form and function, a rare combo amongst airports. Located just 5 miles south of the city, it makes it deliciously convenient. It's also extremely well connected. It takes on a train just 12 minutes to get from the airport to Copenhagen Central Station. You'll need a 3-zone ticket. More on zones a little bit later. And that'll cost you 36 krona, and the ticket is valid for 75 minutes after you purchase it. You can buy your ticket at one of the automated machines or at the ticket booth at the end of Terminal 3, right above the railway platforms.
Alternatively, you can take the metro, also directly from the airport. Can we just stop for a second and appreciate a well-designed, well-connected, functional airport for a second? Anyway, the airport metro station is also located in a covered extension of Terminal 3, and tickets for the 14-minute journey to Copenhagen cost the same as the train, 36 krona.
So you should take the train or the metro. Well, if you're after Copenhagen City or Frederiksberg, the metro is the best bet. But if you're headed to Copenhagen Central Station or Western Copenhagen City, then the train is much easier.
Yes, you can take taxis. There are taxi ranks outside Terminal 3, but the train and metro will cover you for almost all eventualities for a fraction of the price.
But the Danish efficiency doesn't end when you leave the airport. Copenhagen has a clean, comprehensive, and well-integrated public transport system with trains, metro, buses, taxis, and boats. And the trains, metro, and buses are all linked by a common ticketing system, which makes planning your Copenhagen travel adventures much easier.
All public transport in Copenhagen operates on a zone system. The smallest ticket is the 2-zone ticket, which costs 24 krona and can be purchased from ticket offices, vending machines, and bus drivers. Your ticket allows you to travel around Copenhagen in 2 zones, the zone where you purchase the ticket plus 1 adjacent zone for 1 hour. You can switch between all trains, metro, and buses within this hour as long as your last trip starts before your hour is up.
Alternatively, and I'd recommend this, you can get a tourist pass, which gives you unlimited travel on trains, buses, and metros, including to and from the airport. Passes come in either 24 or 72-hour increments, weirdly not a 48-hour. so you'll need to get the one that's most appropriate for your length of stay. You can get one from the ticket vending machines either at the airport or at any metro station.
The metro covers much of Copenhagen and runs every 4 minutes during the day and every 15 minutes throughout the night. The urban train system, or S-Tog, is similar to Paris's RER or Germany's S-Bahn system and runs every 10 minutes during the day. S-Tog trains are clean, modern, and most of them have free Wi-Fi.
Now, neither the trains nor the metro require you to tap in or swipe your ticket or anything like that. You just get on the train, but you have to have a ticket before you get on. You cannot buy a ticket on board, and if you're caught without one, there is a very hefty fine. There are bike rental shops all over the city, and there also are a number of apps that will let you rent one of these trusty Danish stallions all over the city. You just download the app, put in your payment information, stand next to the bike, it unlocks, and you're off on your Danish bicycle adventure. The city is very cycle-centric.
Get off the road!
Oh, you son of a... The metro, train, and bus system will get you pretty much anywhere you need to go, but the vehicle of choice for locals is the trusty bike. The city is incredibly cycle-centric, and there are dedicated bike lanes on almost every single road. Few things to remember: stay on the right and use hand signals to tell the person behind you what you're going to do before you do it, lest you incur the wrath of a cycling Dane. One final thing on transport. As of spring 2017, Uber is no longer operating in Copenhagen, so that's no longer an option. However, there are loads of taxi apps available that basically function the same way and are very easy to use. We've been using Taxa 4x35, same principle. Tell them where you are, tell them where you want to go. You can elect to pay on the app or cash to the driver. Very easy, very easy, very easy. But my favorite form of transport in Copenhagen is a 103-year-old wooden roller coaster. Woohoo!
I've been excited about our Copenhagen trip for a long time. And not just because of Tivoli, the famed and historic and frankly wonderful theme park at its center, and not just because my brother Andrew would be along for the ride, but also, unsurprisingly, I am excited about the food.
There's so much beef.
As home to the legendary 2 Michelin-starred Noma, at one point considered without equal anywhere on earth, you'd be right to assume this city serves up some extraordinary food.
I'm in heaven.
And so we made haste to Torvhallen, an indoor food market, to meet Asmus Gamdrup, a food historian, cookbook author, TV presenter, and all-around nice guy, for an intro to a Danish classic, smørrebrød.
I'm a food historian, so for me it makes sense because this is a very traditional thing, although this is a different way of presenting it than we're used to. So it is basically an open sandwich, a thing that sort of came around in the late 19th century, with places all over the city, all over the country, where you could get these different types of decorated open sandwiches.
And so the component is it always the same bread, or is it different types of bread?
You can choose the bread, but it would often be the rye bread, and then with something different varieties on top of it. Have a snaps as well for this.
It would be rude not to.
Exactly, not to respect the tradition.
Yeah.
The name smørrebrød, it means basically butter bread. But the herring is just, it goes way back, and it's just a very important ingredient from all over Denmark, like for the last at least 1,000 years.
And 1,000 years of practice has definitely, as the old saying goes, made perfect.
It tastes like Christmas.
Cheers.
Man, thank you.
Thank you.
So good.
Copenhagen isn't short of places to get a beer. After all, this is the home of Carlsberg and Tuborg, the beer of Danish kings. But Mikkeller has become a sensation both locally and beyond. Christian Schepperlin from Mikkeller explains how it all got started.
The Mikkeller brand started like many other micro and nano brewers in a kitchen, just a couple of guys doing homebrew, big pot, but obviously very, very small batch.
And somehow, that small batch of coffee stout caught America's attention, and Mikkeller went stratospheric almost overnight.
Demand was there, but there was no supply.
Thankfully for you and me, they found a brewery in Belgium to produce their coveted recipe at scale. And once they got started, there was no stopping them.
We passed recipe 1,000 a year and a half ago.
1,000 different recipes.
Yeah, and I know that's
In 7 years.
in 7 years, yeah.
And talk about being in the right place at the right time, we got to sample one of the brewery's newest creations.
It's Belgian Saison, so harvest time beer. This particular one, the spices in this one is black pepper and lemon zest. And the name came up because Monkish kept emailing Mikkel. We need a name for the beer and how are you doing? And his auto reply was on saying, if urgent, please keep emailing me. And so the label of the beer, this is shameless plugging, but still, if urgent, please keep emailing me all the way down. And then they put that on the label. Because it's not a normal name. I mean, none of the names are normal for beer. There's no normal name for beer.
And it's safe to say Mikkeler is no normal brewery. I'm glad they kept emailing because the result was delicious. Skål. After a few beers, tradition dictates a stop off for some street food. And in Copenhagen, everyone is talking about one place. And that place is dope.
I'm a big fan of this already. It may just look like a hot dog, but it's actually a Danish street food classic. And the guys at Dup have put a little bit of a twist on it as well. It's an organic sausage with mustard, ketchup, remoulade, fried onions, fresh onions, and pickles. And to me, it's a work of art. It was the single highest rated recommendation when we asked our friends on Reddit what we should eat here in terms of street food. This was it, and I am going to dive in. Greg, can I eat this now? Ah. Oh yeah. Yummy. It's hot dog-tacular. Although Denmark is part of the European Union, they actually use their own currency, the krone. Now the krone is pegged to the euro at approximately 7.45 krone to the euro. The krone comes in half 1, 2, 5, 10, and 20 coins before notes take over. Copenhagen has a reputation as a notoriously expensive city, and I'm afraid that reputation is true. It ain't cheap here. Almost everything is eye-wateringly expensive compared to other European cities, and at 25% tax on almost all goods just adds to that pain. And on that note, let's do the rundown. We're bringing it back, people. A cup of coffee will cost you around 30 krone, and that pint of beer my brother's drinking was 70 krone. And for the most reliable indicator of a nation's cost, the good old Big Mac, you're gonna pay about 30 krone. They have scrambled eggs and bacon there. You can order scrambled eggs and bacon at McDonald's. Quick word on safety. The Danes are an extraordinarily friendly people, which makes this a very, very safe city. But there are small pockets where petty crime is a little more prevalent than in the more tourist-heavy areas. Common sense is your weapon of choice in that situation. So stow the fat stacks of cash and the gold jewelry, Greg, and you'll be fine.
One could easily be drawn into thinking that at times Copenhagen might feel like a frigid northern European outpost. Desolate and bleak in the winter, only accessible to the casual visitor for a few temperate months in the summer. Nonsense. This is a year-round city, hundreds of miles south of the capital cities of its Scandinavian brethren. But frankly, who cares about the climate? Copenhagen is such an engaging city that its place on the map is entirely irrelevant. In fact, with its delicious food, friendly people, comprehensive transport system, and just plain smart way of doing things, Copenhagen is one of those rare cities that has me thinking, yeah, I could live here. I could definitely live here. And who knows, one more trip back here, and that just might happen.
Hello and welcome to Attaché, the show that gets you in, out and around some of the greatest cities in the whole world. My name is Andrew Hunter and I'll be your Sherpa on this international adventure. And today we're in the city of spires, Copenhagen.
Man, that was really good.
I thought it was as well.
Natural. Much
It
better
felt
than
good.
Alex. Yeah,
It felt good. I think I didn't want to say anything to Alex, and don't tell him I told you this, but I just feel like his stuff's getting a bit bland and a bit dry and a bit boring.
Try it out. You're bringing something fresh.
The beard is a bit much these days as well. I just don't know.
He's looking old.
Yeah.